Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. Today we gotta talk about a dangerous disease that's spreading all over the States. Actually, the disease is spreading all over the Western world. The diagnosis is commonly known as intersectional feminism. Now, insensitive people online, namely myself, often mock these people suffering from fatal disease. But this video is not about that. I actually want to share a concern. Let's look at a victim of this critical condition, Saira Rao. Now, recently she has been getting a lot of attention for this gem of intersectionality. Now, going through this series of mental excretion, I'm not going to do that. You can see what this idiot is trying to say. This person, like many others in her cult, defined some nebulous term, in this case whiteness, and God knows what it means. Not only does this term not have any defined form, it constantly changes to mean something else at a different point in time. Now, to be honest, I can see the humor in this, but this is insanely dire. I don't know when you all last entered a university, but having lived in a college town for 4 years, this is how a lot of people talk. I have family members who are first-generation Americans. Their parents were legal immigrants, came into the nation, worked hard to provide a life for my cousins, sent them to school, and now my cousins talk like this. I don't want to play a victim card or nothing, just to keep it short. Members of my family who are first-generation Americans, who are in my age group, choose to not associate themselves with me over differences in opinion. I mean, they don't even know my politics, but I choose to divert from them on certain stances on social issues, and let's just say they're less than enthusiastic about it. Now, this should concern you because it is spreading like wildfire, and victims of this condition, I do want to call them victims, but to be more accurate, they're cult members. These intersectional groups operate like cults in more ways than we realize. First of all, this cult requires total submission. They cannot maintain a relationship with people who differ from them slightly. In the case of this Rao character, she started driving her friends away because they would not give up their whiteness, whatever the hell that means. And I've noticed this about other cult members. You can agree with them on everything. But let's say you offer some resistance to one of their stances, for instance, the absurd notion of listen and believe, and they will not tolerate that. Also, you cannot get people out of cults just by giving them evidence to the contrary. Just walk up to a gender studies major and tell them that the gender wage gap is a myth. Well, first of all, she'll scream at you and kick you in the shin. Let's say you don't do that. Let's say you tell them, hey, it's possible that the gender wage gap is exaggerated. And if you look into the data, which I am willing to do with you, Mr. or Mrs. or Z feminist in question, and you'd be able to see that a lot of the discrepancy, if not all of it, is measured by observable variables. And you do not necessarily have to conclude discrimination. Just do that and you will know what I'm talking about. Also, the cult zeroes in on their victims. They make sure that they drive people out of their lives, the cult members' lives, I mean. And the way they do that is that they drive these people so crazy to the point where their friends can no longer tolerate them. These cult members can only be friends with other cult members. This is why I think a lot of commentators have found this Saira Rao character to be interesting. Looking through her Twitter feed, and not just the tweets I showed earlier, it seems she routinely complains or remarks that a friend of hers that she recently had to cut out of her life as they failed some arbitrary test of intersectionality. Now, I don't pretend to have all the answers. As a matter of fact, I rarely have any answers. But parents, you gotta keep yourself updated on what your kids are learning in school, particularly in college. Now, I don't know how you're gonna do that. Maybe have a really open relationship with your kids. I don't know. Somehow, if possible, make them choose a discipline that has some quantitative or analytical application. And please try to do everything in your power to make sure they don't major in anything that ends with the suffix studies. I don't really know if you can do that, but if you can. I find myself to be guardedly pessimistic about the future, as Larry Elder once described himself back in the day. I don't know, you guys. Let me know what you guys think. I really don't know how we can stop the spread of this bizarre disease. But anyways, y'all, like and subscribe to the channel for more documentation of moral decay.